It was you who
It was
started
on
flipping us
Snapchat.
off. Yeah, and then you would just send us a finger on Snapchat. And, hey, Judd,
Oh my God, how are you?
you're all dialed up and ready. I wouldn't have known that you had just woken up 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
a
so
habit.
I gotta ask you this then, since you're like me. Are
Yeah.
you, are your sleeping patterns just like out the window? Is it all caca?
Pretty much, yeah. Like sometimes I'll go to sleep at 5, 8. Like I don't force myself to go to sleep. I'll just go to sleep whenever I'm sleepy. If that makes sense.
Right.
I'm like,
You're not. Well, yeah. Because
you're
last
the
night,
same.
that's it. Yeah, that's what I was asking, because I don't go to bed till like 4. Sometimes I'll go to bed when the sun's coming up, and I feel
Same.
like a kid again because I'm like, oh, watch TV or I'll do whatever, and then I'm like sleep throughout the day when it's hot and everyone's complaining and moaning, and then I'm like, yeah, that's yeah, I don't.
That's not my problem anymore. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
that's not me. I'm like, I'm not waking up,
Yeah.
and then of course everyone's like, but Dad, you've got to have a routine still, and I'm like, nah, no, you don't. You're fine.
I'm just living life right now. Leave me alone. That's how I feel.
I guess that's why. So I guess you should tell people why we're talking about this, right? Because we were supposed to have a Zoom meeting at 1:30, and both you and I were still asleep.
I messaged you around 2:48. Oh, hey, good morning. Like,
Yeah, you were like, "Good morning," and you know what? I thought you were being sarcastic. I was like, Judith, the sarcastic chick. Like, how does she know I'm like? And I was gonna write back, and then you were like, "I just woke up," and I was like, "Oh, that's why she said good morning."
I was like, oh, maybe Adrian already messaged me, but no, thank
Nope.
God you did. I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. I'm like, no worries, Adrian.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. That's so
I
cool.
used to be a guy I worked with that would always, whenever I would show up late, he would always go, "What's the matter, sunshine? Did you fall out of bed?" Like, in other words, like, that's what woke me up. And yeah, like, why did you come in at all? You must have fallen off the bed.
What's funny is I have never really been punctual, like when going to work. I just have never been that punctual person at all. I was always like 10 minutes late, 30 minutes late, or whatever, but I was there.
Yeah.
You know, at least
Yeah.
we show up. So
I agree.
funny.
I'm the same way. I am exactly the same way. I'm going to change my background just for fun
Yeah,
because I
go
never
for
get
it.
to do this. Well, Stanley behind me there.
It's great to see you. It's been like a year or so since we worked with each other or seen each other.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Sorry, my dog was like taking a drink out of my
Oh man,
eyeball.
are your dogs going to be fighting like in the last one?
Oh, yeah.
Your poor guest was like, "Oh, your dogs, they're killing each other," and they're like ripping each other's necks apart. And Judith is like,
I'm like,
they're
oh
fine.
yeah. Adrian, it's been like a year or so since we last seen each other, worked together. Thank you for joining me on this new venture that I have on my podcast. So just a little background about Adrian and I. We worked together in news. I was an editor and production assistant, and Adrian was working in master control. And during the show, we would have to stay in contact with Adrian since he was doing master control. Whether if we went off air or for some reason, like the show wasn't showing on TV in people's homes, like he would be the one who would get those calls from the viewers. And he was basically the one, yeah, and he was basically the one keeping us on air. So, Adrian, can you tell us a little bit about Master Control and how did you enjoy doing it?
Absolutely not. I came here to promote my new book, and that is what we're going to talk about. It is called Pearls of Wisdom for a Godless Society. It is religious, and so we will be talking lots about Jesus today. I just want you to know.
I do love Jesus, though. I do love Jesus.
Yes, we'll do. No, I totally forgot the question already. Talk about Master Control a little bit.
Yeah. How did you enjoy doing it?
Well, so when I first got to Master Control, I had no clue what it was, none whatsoever. And there was probably about a year of where I was almost sure I was going to get fired every day because I didn't know what to do. It was really hard. And so basically, for people who don't know what Master Control is, basically just making sure we're on it and sort of maintain the functionality of the TV station running as smoothly as possible. In other words, we make sure that if it's a Peter Piper commercial that's set to air, because obviously people paid for the airtime between the newscast or a certain program, that we make sure it's a Peter Piper pizza commercial and not a Ford, or a Chevy commercial, because then that's lost revenue basis. So things like that, make sure it's the right commercial, make sure it's not a Valentine's Day commercial when it's Christmas, you know what I mean? Things like that. And then, of course, making sure that shows start on time and that we hit programming exactly at 7 o'clock and things like that. So it was really difficult because it was a lot more technical than I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot more technical than I thought it was. But then after having really good teachers like Joanna and Yuli, it sort of became second nature, and it became really easy once you got a hold of it because it was so routine. And then thanks to Mike working with me for Primetime for a long time, we just had it down, and it was like, boom. Once we got it, it was great. But it was stress. When it was stress, ask anybody, it was stress, because like everyone was like, you know what it was, Judd? It was like a punter.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows your name. Nobody knows what you do. If you make the field goals, you're all good. But until you miss it,
yeah,
then they know who you are. That's what it was. That's what our job was. But then after that, I loved it. I absolutely loved Master. Like if you were to tell me I could raise my family getting paid doing Master, and I would have never left. And of course, then they said, we don't need Master. And they said, go to hell.
That's true.
Yeah.
Say that.
So, yeah.
But one of the memories I like was like when I was editing in the newsroom or whatever. Well, since we had like the TVs all over on our own channel station, if we would go to black, oh, Adrian, what's going on? Or whoever was in Master, Adrian, what's going on? Can you tell us? Well, I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So, and like the hours, do you feel like they kind of suck? Because I feel like you worked every kind of hours for Master Control.
So the graveyard shift was really, really terrible for me. Like I really hated it because you'd go in at 11 and then you'd come out at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was just like unbearable.
It was my favorite. You know why? Because when I would work the morning, I would just go say hi to you. Hey, Adrian, what's up? We would catch up for a little bit, and then at 3 a.m., 3:30, and then, all right, gotta go. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Judith, you were one of those people that we didn't have to go to you to get you to come out of your show, because like when I first got there, nobody would talk to anybody. Like in Master, like they would talk to Julie and Joanna because they needed stuff from Julie and Joanna and Gabe and Mike. But it was until like after like everyone started like right, wouldn't they call, like if they had to look for somebody, wouldn't they call Master?
That's true. That's
everyone was in there all the time. Like,
that's true. We would
call Master. Judith, Eddie.
Oh yeah, we would go to break or like, let's go visit Adrian. Okay, and then that's true. We would hang out there. That's so funny. And that was my next question too. Like, how did we start talking? Because of course I was new. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. You would just walk by and be like, "Hello," and we'd be like, "This weird chick saying hello to people, and like actually worrying about their day. Ugh. Like she's awful. I never want to talk to her." And then so you would like walk by and we'd be like, be super busy. She's going to say hi. All she wants to do is friendship. We don't want friendship. And then you would come in and talk to us. And then we just started talking to you. And then we got the Wunderkind, Eddie, who like picked up Master Control in like 10 seconds.
That's true. Man, I miss that kid. I miss us. I miss all of us, like hanging out and just having fun. And I feel like we would always work in the weekend. Like we were the only ones who would work, not the only ones, but we would always work in the weekend. So we would always like mess around, and we had long breaks. So that's why we would go to Master all the time.
Yeah. I mean, people would say it. Like Ozzy would always tell us too in Master. He was like, I know that what you do is a lot of hurry up. And then if you have free time because you've caught up on all your work, then that's just how it's going to be. Because and so we did have free time, like that break from 7 to 8. 7 to 8, not 7 to 8:30.
Sure.
9ish.
Because we only had 2 shows, and I would have to go, and it was fast to edit, so I'm like, And then sometimes you would have breaks too that I remember, so we would just mess around or whatever.
Do you miss editing?
I do. I guess because right now
stress, wasn't it?
To a certain extent, yes. But then I got really like fast at it, and then I got the hang of it. Excuse me. Sorry.
Well, that's great. That's great live podcasting. Who doesn't want, you know what, everyone's tuning in for, to hear Judith just like burp uncontrollably.
That's how you know I'm human. I'm a human.
Yeah, not a robot. Yeah.
Not a robot. No, yeah. So of course it could get stressful sometimes, but once you get the hang of it, you get so fast at it, and then like it's just routine, like all the time. But to a certain extent,
Right.
yeah, it could be stressful. Just especially when producers were like 5 minutes to show, hey, can you edit this real quick? Sure, you know what I mean? Like it would happen sometimes, but you just gotta roll
Oh
with
yeah.
the
Well,
punches.
I mean, that's the nature of the business, though, right? It's news. It's as it happens. It's not like we're gonna give you news stories with plenty of time to flesh out your story and yeah, no. So hey, there's a fire and it just happened 5 minutes ago. Here's the house on
Exactly.
fire.
Yeah, exactly. And like
Cut
it
around.
was fun. The what?
I was like, cut around the people on fire and then just show the building. You don't want to.
Right? Seriously. It's
Hey,
so
let me
crazy.
ask you: Did you ever get any like awful footage like that? Did you guys ever see? You did, and you
Well,
would have to like
yeah. Well, we would have
really
to
well
blur
because
it
we don't see
out.
it on TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like the footage, like locally, sometimes I would see dead bodies and we wouldn't show the dead body. We would blur it out because like the cops are taking the body in. But the worst I've seen
Wow.
was, since you know how CNN was our sister station, one
Right.
time, in Baghdad or I don't remember where, but CNN sent us footage of, this was the worst. I saw a lot of dead kid bodies like piled up. And for some reason, the producer wanted to show it, but of course, I had to blur it out. And I could see his point because he wanted to show the truth of what really is happening.
Right.
And
Right.
CNN got that coverage. So, but it was brutal. But that's one thing. Like working for news, you can't take anything personally. I'm an empath. I care for what other people feel or to help them make them better, but you just can't take it personally at all.
It's sort of like you become kind of immune to it, right? Or
There you go.
yeah. And not necessarily like in a callous or sort of like non-caring way, but you're just like, I've got to do my job. I've got to move on and press on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine how hard it was for everybody. Well, I mean, I know how hard it was. I was there, not while they were doing it, but like I still talk to people today that of course, everything that happened with the shootings really took a toll on them because it was nonstop delivery of information and they were constantly being pounded about it. And that they said there was a lot of people that were just like, it was so much. And then there were a lot of people who were like, I didn't have time to register it because I had to type in the next story. So it was like, and out with the next and then with news. So they go, when we finally got a day of rest, that it struck them even harder because it was like, oh my God, that just,
They just have to do the work, go in, show up, go. Like, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah. I can't, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I would have been able to do that. I think that would have been really hard for me.
You really have to have a shield.
This was fun topic of conversation.
It's something to talk about. And like, since we're already on that topic, so, like recently a lot of people believe, I saw this documentary called Out of Shadows. I don't know if you've seen it. I posted it on my Facebook. I say watch it. But they uncover a lot of truth like about Hollywood, like the CIA and everything.
Is it one of those? Yeah, is it one of those conspiracy things?
I feel not really, because it's truthful. Like they have facts about like everything that happened. I do recommend it, Out of Shadows. But everyone like points to the media like fake news. The CIA is telling them what to do, blah blah blah. Like, do you feel like it's the same here locally, where the CIA tells the news director what to do or the general manager? That's what I wonder.
We were in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we were in there. You were part of those production meetings. Like they never told you what to say or what to think. Every reporter got, That's why I find it hard to swallow stuff like that too, because can you imagine the amount of work that would have to go into, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's someone, like, whether you want to admit it or not, like Savannah Guthrie was once you working in a newsroom at a local level. So you have to ask yourself, would I get up there and be like, I'm going to hide these conspiracies? Because, you hope to believe that they keep or maintain that sort of level of integrity as they get into it. And of course, money changes everything, but that would mean that like someone from the Today Show would also have to be unscrupulous and to get up. And then that means the people on the morning show would have to be unscrupulous and cover protection. And that means the other people on MSNBC and over here and over there and everyone. So like to keep those things like afloat. I mean, you worked in the newsroom. If someone blew their nose, we would give them, somebody from the other side of the building would give them a tissue because they knew about it already. Like there was no secrets in the newsroom.
Yeah.
Everybody knew each other's shit.
Yeah.
So I think locally, it didn't happen. You were there. What do you think? Do you think it happened?
I don't even know how that could even happen. Like, I don't remember when we would have our meetings, them telling us, you're going to have to, you have to sign the NDA or whatever.
Logically, like just to keep things that secret from that many, how many people would have to be involved in it?
A lot of
It's
people.
not, yeah. And so I like to think, and I don't want it to sound very kumbaya hunky-dory, but yeah, there's going to be some unscrupulous people. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Look at whatever. There are some people that are going to sway the story to a certain direction. Yeah, of course. But I just think for everyone to be involved, and not just here, that would have to mean nationally. That would mean London would have to be involved, and Pashtun would have to be involved. You know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of hard to comprehend.
Right? Like, it's always like, if somebody is out to get you, you go to the press because the press will tell the truth. And I believe that wholeheartedly, because that's still kind of what happens, right? We do have whistleblowers that still go to the press and tell those stories, and we still have. So I do trust the media to some extent. I do believe that they are still selling a business. So like, it's a lot more business savvy to be like, oh no, another virus coming, because people will be like, what,
Agreed.
And so I say that there's some responsibility on the media's part for overselling, right? Because like, how many times before Corona did we hear about Hanta? Did we hear about Ebola? It was coming for us, and so everybody this time around was like, it's not happening. It's not. Can you hear my dog howling?
No.
No,
I don't. I didn't.
Always been I just always believe in the logical side. What is it called? Occam's razor. With all facts being evident, therefore the simplest must be the solution. Yeah. So, right, like if you're, I think that's how they go. With all facts being evident, therefore the simplest must be the solution, right? Like if you lose your wallet, you can be like, well, maybe this guy stole it on the subway, whatever. But the real solution is you lost it. That was it. It fell. You lost your wallet. Somebody take it. Yeah. And so
give it a chance. That's all I ask. Give it a chance.
Oh yeah. I watch everything. So we'll watch it with I will watch Shadows of the Shadows Part 2.
I'll send it to you. Out of the shadows. I'll send it to you.
Darkness of the shadows.
I'll send it to you.
Shadows. Okay.
And so I guess, well, still sticking to film and everything, acting, I feel like when we started talking more in news and just hanging out, whatever, I feel like we click because we love film. I feel we like to act. Are you still into that? Are you still writing your scripts?
I'm still trying to. I'm still working. Yeah, I'm still wanting to write. The last time I did anything was in December.
Yeah.
My buddy Austin Savage puts on this really great play called Icarus Was a Rookie. And it's not a play. It's essentially what it is. It's a series of plays. And they have to be performed in an hour. So each play is like 2 minutes long. And for lack of a better phrase, they're skits. And I keep calling them skits, and I shouldn't, because there are actual plays in there, like people with really great storytelling ideas and wonderful writing. And they're telling a real story. And then so you have that. And then, of course, some of them are funny. Some of them are silly. And so I acted in that. That was the last time I acted in December, and it was really fun. And I loved it. And I want to do it again. You should have told
me. I would have gone. That would have been so cool.
I was kind of nervous about it because it was the first time it was basically my out of retirement, because I hadn't done anything in so long. And it was nice to be included. He was really nice. And then they went to Marfa, and I couldn't go. And I was devastated by that. But it was fun.
That is so cool. That goes to show that just keep working at it. Don't give up.
About this the other day, that with this medium of social, like you and I should be doing nonstop skits via Zoom.
Oh my God,
this is a great opportunity for people.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like, he was like, I don't understand why people aren't doing more skits. Like, there's a great chance to be working, right? Like SNL, like, because SNL did all those skits from home
Exactly. We should
and
do
those
one.
movies. Are you still acting?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I no, but I auditioned like prior COVID. I did audition, and like I just don't get, like, no one gives me a chance. Basically, that's how I feel, and that's how I've always felt my whole life. Like, no one gives me a chance ever. So now I have to make that chance. Like, I have to bring that chance to myself. Like, I have to make it happen for myself now. And I even went to acting classes. We actually went to your buddy's studio. That's where we did the acting classes. I did it with Mark, and he was awesome. He was pretty awesome.
You said it best. You really said it best. You're like, if it's not happening for me, then I got to make it happen. Like, I've got to make it work for myself. Like, that's the way. So I feel like this is going to be really distracting for people to see when my hands come up and then like one the scene and then they disappear. Like, whoa. But yeah, that's right. That's the right attitude to have. You're like, I've got to make this happen for myself. I need, I think it's fear and then excuses. Like, a lot of us like make excuses for ourselves. Like, we're like, I know I would do it all the time. I still do it all the time. And we're like, well, I can't because I don't have the right camera. I can't because I don't have I wanted to, and a lot of that's true. That's right. Like, we talk about the SNL skits, but they probably had great computers at home, whatever. But you still can, there's still stuff that can be done.
Exactly.
The fabulous, funny Jenny Robbins posted a video the other day that she shot at home, and it was just silly fun. And
this is our
so she did
opportunity.
it. Yeah.
We should do
so
one
like right
for
now
sure.
You're stuck at home.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Pretty much just chilling. We should definitely do a skit. Like, this is it. This is an opportunity for both of us to work together. I feel like we could act together really well, maybe. Like comedians.
I think so too. And I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
I remember one time you asked me to audition, and I auditioned for a part. Do you remember this? And I was like, yeah, movie, I'll be a part of it. Great. And then like the role was like for policemen. And I think it was like, okay, here's your script. And I was like, excellent. And then I was like, oh, you can't see me. I have my paper and I was like, oh, look, I can just disappear. Like, oh, disappear.
You're a ghost.
Ooh, ghost hand. But anyway, so like I picked up my like stupid script, and it was like, okay, you're the police officer having to tell parents that, or you're the dad. I think I was auditioning for the dad.
Oh yeah, you were. Officer. I think. Yeah.
And they're like, you're gonna be the police officer that tells the parents that their daughter's been gutted. Like, and it was like, what? It was like something super serious, and it was like, you have to tell them that she died on that, and it was all for the plot of the movie. And I was like, well, excuse me, and like I had to go in there, and I'm like, I don't know how to be serious, and so it was like, your daughter is dead. They took a knife to her chest cavity and cut it open. Ha! Like, it was really bad. Like, I did really bad, and I just remember them in the middle of the audition going like, maybe he could be the dad instead, and I was like, yeah, I don't. I walked out of there like, yeah, I didn't know how to sell that. I was completely right, because I don't think you were like, oh, it's for policemen, and I thought it was like, yeah, 1960s cop, like I was like even gonna grow my mustache out, and shave, and just have a mustache and wear my collar up, like,
yeah,
like 80s cop, like that was, And
but
no,
in your defense, Adrian, it was a cold reading. They gave you the script right there and then. Like, how were you supposed to prepare? You know what I mean? So you did your best. Yeah. You did exactly your best. But I was so happy you did it, because we would talk about film and acting all the time, but we just wouldn't execute that. Like, we wouldn't do it,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your time.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was cold. It was a cold reading. It was really
Speaking of, remember you used to do reviews on YouTube?
I don't hate anything as much as apparently Zack Snyder hates Superman. Critic Cinemato.
There you go. Do you miss that?
So, are you a big movie buff? Are you
I'm a film freak. I'm a pop culture.
Very much so. Well, that wasn't my baby. I got to give credit where credit is due on that. Critic Cinemato is Jorge. Is George's Jorge Salas. If anybody hasn't listened to his podcast, I really recommend.
Yes, BC podcast.
All one of my audience that is watching this.
Same.
My fans. My tens of fans, which was probably is just like mostly friends' moms, and grandmas. Yeah. If you get a chance to listen to somebody that really watches film. I thought I watched film. I'm more of a tentpole pictures. I do like my indie film and I do like my bizarre out there. But boy, oh boy, does Jorge watch. I mean, he watches everything under the sun. Yes. We're throwing a shout out. He's not even going to watch this. He'll be like, "Oh, I hate that guy." Judd, you know what he'll do? He'll do this.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about too. That's so hilarious.
Our finger wars?
Yes, like I even messaged George. I was like, "Hey, do you have any video of us when we did our finger wars?" He's like, "Oh, look." He found one, but it was just of me, and he like was flipping me off. But how did that start? I feel like that was one of the funniest things we ever did. And then you and George got super creative.
I think it was you. It was you who started flipping us off. Yeah, and then you would just send us a finger on Snapchat, and then so we would just start sending them to you back. And then George got creative. George would like edit like multiple fingers, like he would do like amazing technical stuff, and then we would just be like, "Oh, okay, that was really good." And then I would just try to like pretend I wasn't going to, and then do it. Like it just became like a thing around the flipping each other off.
And it was all on Snapchat. You know what I mean? It was all Snapchat. Yeah. So every time we get a Snapchat, I wonder what they did this time. My favorite one that I remember was George was filming you, like opening the door or something and was going up. And then you're just like looking down, like pretending to dance or something. You're like, I don't remember. Something like that. It was so funny. That was fun. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the mines was like, it was like a real moment. You guys were like really in the news. It was like, dun, 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 you know, 14 school children bus overturned on the highway. And then George is directing, and I think he just like very casually raises up the finger and gives it to, and it was hilarious because I was like, I was like, oh my God, it's something news. Where are they sending us? You know, because they're like, what's going on? And I should have known. But it just completely caught me off guard, and I just remember laughing.
It was so fun.
I don't know how it started. I think it had to be you.
Yeah, probably.
But
I'm so happy you guys.
But
joined.
To go back, yeah, it was. We really worked with a bunch of people, and it's funny, but really think about this, Judd. I don't know if you do this or not, but like. Joanna and Amani still talk to each other on Instagram. I probably will text Patrick, or Patch as I would call him, once a week.
Yeah.
I talk to him every other day. You met Patrick, right? Were you able to meet Patrick? Or you came in just after he left, right, Judd? You never got to meet Patrick?
The reporter.
The director? Right? The director. The director, not Patrick Hayes.
Oh, no, but I heard a lot about Patrick, I think.
Yeah. But so a lot of us still maintain friendships through there.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Nicole, we loved Nicole.
Yeah,
we loved,
she was on my podcast too.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw the one with your guest who just has a piano, which is my favorite. Like
yeah, Angela.
Like it didn't even click to me. She was just like, you're like, hey, we should do a song, and then you cut to yourself talking, and then when you came back, she was just already at a piano. I was like, that's awesome. That's like a movie. That doesn't happen. And I remember shooting a message back to you right away, like laughing. I was like, that's the funniest. You're like, we should do a song. And then, okay. And it's like, wow.
I don't think we did a song, though. I think we tried, but I was like, it didn't work out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. But
Critic Cinemato, I want to go back and answer.
Go for it.
Critic Cinemato was George's baby. That was George's answer, George's idea. He just wanted me to sort of be the facilitator, the host, and then so he still does it, and he still uses the Critic Cinemato banner. and he's doing it with other people, and the podcast is real good. I get to hear a couple of it every now and then. And really, when I have time, I should just go back and hear them all again. And then with me, he was trying to do something different, where it basically was like meeting people for the first time. That was hard, and he didn't want us to acknowledge we were on a podcast. So it was just me having to come up with a conversation, and it be about movies. He was basically shooting first date scenes, like it was like, but they weren't first dates, but it was like, and it was always like some gal, and I'd be like, oh, this gal's like okay, all right, I guess, and so
yeah. I'll put the link on here too, because it was really interesting to watch, and you're a character, and I don't know, you ask good questions, and you're funny, and I feel like you can still pursue it. You should. It's never too late.
That's very nice of you to say. Here, how much money do you need?
$1 million.
Yeah. How much do you need? Let me give you some money for my wallet here.
$1 million. Adrian, when you left working for Master Control, did you go straight to working for sales right after that?
So, no, I wanted to come back to sales, and I found a nice opportunity at a place called RTC, Radio Technology Communications, and I worked for them for about a year, in which I was doing sales. And then the opportunity came up. I think it was just happenstance that I ended up running into people, and they reached out to me from KTSM, and I was like, yeah, I would be very curious about doing sales. And then so that's how that transition happened. And then I had to leave RTC, which I really loved. RTC. It was a great company, great people, and my boss Frank was just one of the coolest dudes. And then I ended up going to KTSM sales. Yeah.
How did you like that? Any advice or
sales? I couldn't do it. Like, I just wasn't. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be. You have to be really on top of your game and constantly. Yeah. So no, I unless you have that bite, and not like in an insulting manner, you just have to have this sort of sharpness, this edge to you that I just didn't have, and I don't. Again, I'm more concerned about entertaining the room. Like, the personality translates to sales. Like, everyone's like, oh, Adrian, you'd be great for sales. But then the closing doesn't translate. Like, I have to be, edgier. I have to be a little more business-like. And I just felt like, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. So that's where I ended up slipping.
And that's important too, because I feel like after news, I kind of struggled a little from doing social media manager, and then I went to a marketing agency, and I just wasn't happy. Like, even in news, like, not that I wasn't happy in news, but I just didn't want a 9 to 5 anymore. I didn't want a 2 to 10, and I just wanted something that didn't feel like work. And I feel like maybe you feel like that too. Like, is it like a struggle not a struggle, just you're just trying to find your niche, your purpose, and I feel like for both of us, it's creating.
Yes, that's exactly it. I don't even have to answer anything to that because it's exactly it. That's what it is. I want to have fun while I'm doing it. And I know that everybody does. Not everybody loves work, but it's like I said, Master. If I could have done Master, getting paid really decent amount of money, I would have done it for the rest of my time. I loved it. It was great. It was really great. And the people I worked with were great.
You're awesome. Yeah. And that's the thing. I feel like now, like with COVID hit, it's kind of been a blessing for me in a way. Has it been a blessing for you? Like, to find that purpose?
To be able to reevaluate yourself and find yourself? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I guess we have to say, like, it sucks because
definitely it sucks.
Yeah, because of what happened we've got brothers and sisters out there that are passing away from this, but at the same time, it is what it is, and we just sort of have to continue through. We all have to push through, and in that process, like, I'm sort of like, I was telling people, I'm doing things like, everyone thought that I didn't think anyone thought I could probably make it this far without, like, indulging in self-indulgences, like going out, because everyone knows I like to drink and party, and I've been fine. Still drinking at home, But yeah, but I like don't miss the bars at all.
Good.
And
Actually, me either.
And yeah, so yeah, getting to know yourself. Like I'm cooking, I'm like trimming my own beard, and I'm like, oh, who knew? I'm saving some, I'm like, goodbye, Steve. No, I'm just kidding. He's my barber.
But are you
And I
taking
miss
this
him. I
time
really
to?
do. But
Yeah, no, it looks nice. But are you taking this time to? Are you taking this time to write like more scripts? Maybe you could do YouTube again. Like maybe do a vlog or something.
yeah, you see, and that's what we were talking about. We should have been taking advantage from the get-go, and I just kind of, what I did was I took the step back and I was like, I'm going to read a little more. I'm going to take that vacation where like everyone always said, God, if I could just get 2 months, right? Everyone would always say that, if I could just get like a week just for myself. And this was a good opportunity. You got it. Like you got more than that. So I was like, I'm going to read a little more. I'm going to cook a little more. Like I'm buying spices. I'm like, nutmeg, what does this do? Like I never did that before. I would be like a sandwich and then whatever. And now I'm like cooking my own stuff and finding recipes and sort of like becoming a Renaissance person. And I just kind of find myself like, yeah, this was what I needed. And so I have been pushing the creativity stuff, not necessarily on a back burner because I'm still like watching tons of movies and still writing little jokes and skits and here and there. But I'm like, I really should sit down now and start cranking out like some bigger screenplays and stuff like that.
Yeah. Everything.
Are you?
Yes. Since I got laid off from my hotel job, whatever.
Yeah.
I did the same thing like you did. I took the time to just sit back, relax, see what comes to me first. And then I started doing these podcasts and everything just happened gradually. And I think that's the best way when it happens slowly but surely, if that makes sense.
Right.
And it's not too late. Like, yes, maybe we could have grinded. We could have been like.
No, we shouldn't be grinding, but we could have hit the grind more.
So just a real quick summary, like how has COVID affected you and what are you doing to stay positive as of right now? Now that we're in like phase 2 of COVID in a way,
Right. I'm avoiding the media. Unfortunately, I'm avoiding news as much as I possibly can. Because it's just so upsetting. And so in order to keep my sanity and to keep me positive, I just have to stay away from it. I have to stay away from it, Judd. I'll go insane. Yeah, unfortunately. That doesn't mean I'm not up to date. Like I'll read the headlines, I'll catch the glimpses, but I just don't want to get into depth. I think the next step for positivity is to probably stay off social media for a while because we have so many difference of opinions.
It's overwhelming.
And they infuriate me.
Mm-hmm.
And they piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as it's floored me. I mean, I'm grounded. I read a meme and it was one that probably stuck with me because I normally don't take that kind of stuff to a grain of salt, but it was, I'm not trapped at home, I'm safe at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just the mentality that I took with it. And I have been, sort of writing my skits and writing again. And, like I said, not in great detail, but like coming up with ideas left and right and watching stuff that'll help me grow those ideas further. So like if I've got an idea for a pilot, I'll go back and watch like shows that are pilots and be like, okay, yeah. So I'm getting there. I think it's just time to batten down the hatches, as they say, and begin the actual like completion, committing myself to paper. Yeah. How about you?
Same. Just to stay positive, I feel like getting closer to God. I feel like I've been not doing self-help, but like just finding myself again through God, because I feel like I kind of lost track of that. And just trying to be better, trying to not procrastinate, trying not to be lazy, because those two are my biggest weaknesses, to be honest with you.
I hope the takeaway from all of this is that we start realizing how grateful we should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, how many times would you complain when you would forget, you're making pancakes, you go to the store and you buy everything you need and you forget the syrup. And then you'd be like, darn, I have to go back to the store again.
Yeah.
And now it's the question of life and death, maybe for some people, if they have to go back to the store again. And so things that like of that nature, we probably should be a lot more grateful for. Like, I think we should be grateful that we're just able to go outside and go to McDonald's and go to Starbucks and have it not be, you know, the even the right to breathe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, being healthy.
Take advantage of our health too, because right now that's a huge issue. And for me, it was like, I've always joked about it. I've always carried my weight as myself. It's part of who I am. But I was like, I think healthy. I'm on the, you know, because you're on the scary side. Like I'm on the scary side. Like, is it me? I'm in that weight class of, I'm, you know, predisposed to, like, I'm really shouldn't take advantage of my health again. So that's one thing I probably won't be doing when coming out of this. And we can certainly start taking advantage of it now but yeah, I think it's just being grateful to everything that we have and not complaining about traffic, because even traffic means the world's flowing smoothly.
Yeah, it's cray. It's so cray.
It's interesting out there. What was I going to tell you? Are you thinking about going back to work? Are you looking? Are you trying to do stuff online?
So I'm looking. I definitely am seeing if I could work from home. Like, this is my mentality right now. If I could find a good, easy job, if I could find a good, easy, part-time, good-paying job where I could work part-time and then still do film in the side and try to make it on YouTube or whatever. That's what I'm looking for now. Even doing more social media work, like, I'm still looking into that, but nothing's happening for me right now. But I'm not worried. I'm okay, you know, like, but everything happens for a reason. When one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah, certainly.
But I'm not worried. Are you looking for a job, or what are you doing right now? No.
I'm doing nothing. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I will not. I have to bend. I have to. Yeah, forget it. I'm not. Never. I mean, who knows? I don't know where this thing's going to end or what's going to happen. I don't want to leave the house till everything's clear, because
exactly.
You definitely want to go out there when it feels 100% safe. Not like, if you wear your mask, there's a chance, or if you do like, I just want to be able to, like, back to normal. Like, I want to be able to share, like, taste this and be able to give my spoon to someone, like, and then, like, and then be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's the safety I want back again.
And I don't want to go back to a job, like, because I went to this job because I quit my marketing job, but I don't want to go back to a job that pays me shit to do something I don't even love. You know what I mean? Like, you're working for peanuts, and then it's just stress.
What happened with the social media? What was it about that you didn't like? Because I thought that would have been right up your alley, and you were doing it for
a Star Wars.
I don't know if you were going to say that.
That's fine. So after, of course, after news, I left to do social media marketing for a Western store here in El Paso called Star Western Wear. It's fine. It's a local mom and pop. And then, like, that's the thing with me. I get bored easily. So I was there for 9 months, and I was like, okay, what's next? What's next? Like, I get bored, and then I start feeling like a routine, and then that routine kind of drains me down, and I kind of feel like I have no purpose again. Like, that's something I need to work on. But so then I ended up applying for this marketing job, another mom and pop marketing job. And I was there for 2 months. And to be honest, it just didn't work out. It didn't work out. I was so stressed. The person who owned it, nice person. And I give her props because she owns this business, you know. It just wasn't happy doing it either as well. So that's why I left. And when I left, just like my shoulders just were so relieved, and it's crazy. But that's when you gotta just take a risk and see if you like it or not. And if you don't like it, then move on, you know?
Right.
And that's what I did. I took a risk with this marketing job, and maybe to her eyes, I wasn't good enough. I don't know, but it just was not for me at all. I was doing a lot. I was getting paid good, but I was doing too much.
Right. And it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, and it's not a life you want like that.
Yeah.
And I swear, Adrian, like, every time I would get up, that's the first voice I would hear. I'm like, oh, no, love you, but no. You know what I mean? Like, no, but it's all good. Like, you got to risk it and find what you like. So I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I did it, though.
can I ask you a question? Are you worried about COVID? Does it frighten you? Because I know with me, I'm worried about it. Come here. Watch. Come here, Buck. Say hi.
Oh, he's
Say hi,
so
look over there.
cute. He's all, Dad, I don't want to, Dad. And then my
the minute
poodle,
you picked up one,
she came right after.
Picked up one, yeah, they had to come. I want to be in the shot too. Oh, it's a beautiful husky.
She's spoiled,
male, female,
man. Female.
Is she?
She's so spoiled. She's so spoiled.
Yeah.
They're all spoiled. But with COVID, yeah, it's scary. It definitely is. I try to do my best if I go out to protect myself. I do wear a mask. I do wash my hands frequently. But yeah, it makes it uncomfortable. Like if you were to get a job anywhere, it does make it uncomfortable to just work comfortably.
You ever planning to get back in TV?
I think that would be my last option, honestly. Because it's not like I didn't hate it. I had so much fun there. It's just like going 2 to 10 all the time. You can't go out of town for ratings. Like you have to work weekends. You know what I mean? Like I kind of want
holidays.
And I love this freedom I have now. I could do whatever I want, you know? That's initially what I want in a job. Even in film, like, yes, we work for 6 months.
If we could only go anywhere.
Exactly. Like, I know film, you have to work, but I love how you could work for 6 months straight and then you're done.
Yeah. I would say just make the move.
Yeah, exactly. And you're coming. You're coming.
I'm bringing you all except you. I don't like you. No, I don't have any advice to give anybody. I mean, I think I'm not in a position to give anybody any advice, believe me.
Well, they could definitely learn from your experience, you know?
Yeah, sure. I guess it would probably be just like, hey, wear your masks, try to be pleasant to each other. We all have differences of opinions. We're not going to agree on stuff, but we got to get through this together. It's the only way ahead.
Agreed.
Either we all walk together or together we stay where we are.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Oh,
no,
Adrian.
well, that's from somewhere, but from a movie, I think. But yeah, so.
Well, thank you. Together. Yes, definitely. We're in this together. But thank you for chatting with me. I had so much fun. and if you made it this far, guys, comment that you made it to the end. I'm just kidding. To our 4 followers.
By the way, I just want everyone to know that Judith was talking to me about this podcast and then like, oh, I've got all these people lined up. And I'd be like, chirp, chirp, crickets. And I was like, I'm going to ask this friend and this friend. And I was like, oh, I see, but not me. And then she finally asked me and I was like, it's about time. It's about time you asked. I should have been asked a long time ago. Me. I should have been the first one. Not anyone else. Me.
You know what, Adrian? I'm so happy you messaged me because my goal was only to do 5. And then I did those 5 and I was like, we'll see where this goes. And then when you messaged me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make another 5. So thank you, Adrian. Okay. You actually like got me out of my shell again to do it.
Get the ball rolling. Who's going to be the next guest?
I don't know. Well, you know what I was thinking? I was going to ask George. Let's see if George wants to do it. But I was thinking about Angela too, like just catching up with her and seeing what she's doing now. Because 3 months have passed. So I think that would be interesting to see. But I'll ask her. But I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see who's next. Well, if you have anybody, let me know. Send them my way. Just kidding.
I would definitely don't commute.
All right, Adrian. Well, let's work on that script. Let's do that skit. I'm so down.
I'm in.
Bye.
All right.